Hello and welcome, I'm Amber Lou and this is my Dr. Sleep movie review here in the Movieverse. Set a few decades after the events from The Shining, this sequel and fellow Stephen King adaptation sees the return of familiar places and familiar faces. Kinda. Vowing to never see snow again, the surviving Torrances move to Florida, but Danny is still haunted by moulding grannies. Whilst an obnoxious and sadistic group of, steam suckers led by Rose the Hat kidnap and torture other shinies in the form of young children, Danny's fairy ghost father returns to teach him how to confront his demons and lock them away into mental boxes.
After the death of his mother, a tragic older Dan finds a numbing release from ongoing PTSD through alcohol, drugs, sex and violence. Reality smacks him hard in the face in the form of an infant and he sets out in a desperate attempt to find peace. He ends up in New Hampshire, befriends the nicest and most generous guy in the world and begins to turn his life around. That is, until a young girl with a supernova shine and dangerous curiosity pops up to say hello. Suddenly he must do all it takes to defend and protect her from the ravenous True Knot who will stop at nothing to find her. From the outset, the cinematography and magical elements were incredibly satisfying, and the CGI was certainly believable. The scenes felt very intimate and real, placing me directly in the moment with ongoing unease. The casting was spot on, with faultless performances from Ewan McGregor, Rebecca Ferguson, and newcomer Kylie Curran. Each held the screen with such conviction, without outshining each other, pun initially unintended. Ferguson brought a sinister yet alluring supernatural villain with a touch of twisted humanity. Her role as the leader of True Knot gave us a rare insight into the fears and desperation of the bad guys, making their sadistic actions almost understandable, if never forgivable. Such a fresh yet disconcerting perspective for the genre. There were scenes with immense feelings, such as Dan's monologue at his 8 years sober meeting and his role as Dr. Sleep. Both shed light onto a dark journey and made us empathise so strongly that we invested 100% into his character. Curran also brought her A-game to every scene. To have a young female lead with high resilience, intelligence and passion was enticing rather than distracting. I was always anticipating what Abra was going to do next. Nothing was predictable. This being said, the screen only felt truly alive during face-offs between Abra and Rose. Their chemistry was electric. You could feel the static in the air. I just felt that no other character was fully fleshed out, and the only backstory we really knew was Dan's, due to this being a continuation of it. It was almost lazy with inconsistent character development and plot choices too. The shootout scene was a prime example and made utterly no sense to me at all. You have all these people with extraordinary abilities and you're facing off with guns? We were made to believe that the True Knot were this unstoppable and terrifying force, but they were mostly all taken out within minutes. Just a tad anticlimactic. The return to Overlook Hotel was done masterfully and became a saviour with recycled scenes, film score, scene transitions, set design and returning characters. It did feel a little fan-servicey, but I can forgive that for the chills it gave. It was somewhat rewarding to discover how characters' lives, or deaths, continued on, but I'm not sure how I felt about the actor lookalikes. Do I wish that Jack Nicholson had made an appearance? Absolutely, but the new faces embodied the original roles delicately, and Wendy Torrance 2.0 was pretty convincing. It just felt a little forced, I guess. There was a cameo from the original Danny Torrance during a baseball game, however, along with a few other Easter eggs here and there. Where The Shining was claustrophobic, drenched in suspense and chills, earning its title as a horror classic, Dr. Sleep is more about action, pursuit and acceptance. It was definitely warmer than its predecessor, and truthfully, the only horror element for me was the intense and sickening violence towards children. High praise for the incredible acting ability of Jacob Tremblay. Even the other cast members were traumatised after shooting his scene. But it's one of the only scenes that I remember vividly, and I just don't think it's for the right reasons. There was a dark beauty throughout this film that has been overshadowed by a scene used only to progress the story and give the characters a direction. Seriously though, who lets a kid walk home alone along a main road in the first place? Such a typical Stephen King trope. I do understand that it must have been hard for Mike Flanagan, having to please both King and Kubrick fans and Stephen King himself. King notoriously hated Kubrick's The Shining for deviating from the heart of his literature, and Flanagan had to make up for Kubrick's resilience. He brought in elements of both and created a convincing hybrid. Now, as I haven't read the books, I cannot vouch for the authenticity towards the source material, but I know there have been mixed responses due to Dr. Sleep's ending replicating the original climax of King's Shining. For me, it is bittersweet, but also somewhat relieving to know that peace has finally been found, and I thought it closed this duology off nicely. I would love to see more of Abra helping other shinies in the future, but who knows where we go from here.
So, after debating with myself for weeks, I've decided to give Dr. Sleep 3.5 stars. The satisfactory follow-up to Kubrick's classic does offer some incredible acting, some truly believable supernatural effects, and the return to where it all began was handled exceedingly well. But the oversaturated murder scene, the contradictory storyline and character development, some characters that I just did not like, sorry Andy, and the anticlimactic defeat of the True Knot kind of sabotaged the experience for me. I am hoping that when I rewatch it, my opinion will change, but with a classically drawn out King runtime of 151 minutes, I don't know when that's gonna be. Did you think the murder scene went too far? Did you think the lookalike actors were a bit too try-hard? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. Let's discuss. I hope you liked this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, click subscribe as there's more to come. Next up, Midway. See you there.